Hashtag don't stay alone inside Quantum Growth Lab T7. The Galactic Research Council had categorized humanity as a Class 7 biological species. Weak bones. Slow reflexes. Oxygen dependence. Emotional instability. The official report from the Xenobiology archives described humans with almost insulting simplicity. Primitive carbon-based mammals originating from a medium-risk death world. Physically fragile. Mentally irrational. Suitable only for low-priority scientific observation. Inside the endless silver halls of the Orion Scientific Nexus, hundreds of alien species accepted this classification without question. Humans were strange. But not dangerous. Certainly not compared to the horrors hidden across the galaxy. That assumption would become the worst mistake Quantum Growth Lab T7 had ever made. Because deep beneath the laboratory's polished titanium floors, something ancient had awakened. And unfortunately for the galaxy, a human was left alone with it. Quantum Growth Lab T7 floated in deep orbit around the black dwarf planet Varnoke 3. The station specialized in accelerated evolution experiments. Scientists there studied organisms capable of mutating through quantum instability lifeforms that adapted faster than reality itself. Most species refused to even approach the station. Too many incidents. Too many disappearances. Too many sealed corridors with warning signs written in 17 languages. But the Council continued funding the project because of one particular specimen. Specimen QX991. The staff called it the Hunger Bloom. No one knew where it originally came from. The organism looked harmless at first glance. A black flower suspended inside a transparent containment chamber. Its petals shimmered like liquid shadows. Beautiful. Silent. Motionless. But every researcher on the station knew the truth. The Hunger Bloom was responsible for the extinction of the entire Nerith colony system. 3 billion lives erased in less than 2 weeks. The creature absorbed biomass, intelligence, memory, and eventually entire ecosystems. The more fear surrounded it, the faster it evolved. Which was why the emergency protocols inside Lab T7 were absolute. No direct exposure. No emotional stimulation. And under no circumstances. Never leave anyone alone with the organism. Especially during its growth cycle. Because that was when it hunted. Dr. Zixel adjusted his breathing apparatus nervously while reviewing the containment monitors. The small reptilian scientist had worked at T7 for 11 years. Long enough to witness horrors that still haunted his sleep cycles. Across the chamber stood the newest addition to the station staff. Arthur Bennett. Human. Age 34. Occupation, maintenance engineer. Threat level, negligible. Arthur leaned casually against a console, sipping coffee from a metal cup covered in stickers. One of them said, "World's okayest human." Zixel still didn't understand human humor. "You are not listening," Zixel hissed anxiously. Arthur looked up. The growth cycle begins in 12 minutes. You must evacuate with the others." Arthur glanced through the reinforced glass toward the floating black flower. "That thing." Zixel's scales darkened with irritation. "That thing consumed an armed Vidian assault squad in 4 seconds. Arthur blinked. "Seriously?" "Yes. And you guys kept it?" The alien scientist stared at him in disbelief. "It is for research." Arthur took another sip of coffee. "Yeah, humans used to say that about crocodiles too." Zixel didn't know what a crocodile was. But the way Arthur smiled while saying it made him uncomfortable. Dash. The station alarm suddenly exploded through the corridors. Warning. Quantum containment failure. Warning. All personnel evacuate immediately. Red lights flooded the laboratory. Scientists sprinted through the halls in blind panic. Security doors slammed shut throughout the station. And inside Containment Chamber 7, the black flower slowly opened. Petals unfolded like stretching claws. Dark mist leaked into the air. The temperature dropped instantly. Zixel's blood froze. No. The hunger bloom had awakened early. That had never happened before. The containment field flickered violently. Then shattered. The sound was strangely soft. Like breaking ice underwater. The black flower drifted upward. Watching. Learning. Hungry. Every nearby alien scientist immediately fled. Except one. Arthur Bennett remained standing beside the observation window holding his coffee. Zixel nearly screamed. Human. Run. Arthur tilted his head. The floating organism twitched slightly. Then something horrifying happened. The flower began changing shape. Its petals stretched into long black tendrils. A massive mouth formed in the center. Rows of transparent teeth unfolded endlessly inward like a living tunnel. One security officer collapsed instantly from fear-induced cardiac failure. Another began vomiting uncontrollably. The hunger bloom absorbed panic. Fed on terror. Grew stronger from it. The creature expanded larger and larger with every scream echoing through the laboratory. Zixel backed away trembling. We are dead. Arthur stared quietly at the monster for several seconds. Then he said. Huh. Zixel blinked. Huh. Arthur slowly walked toward the containment chamber. The alien scientist nearly lost consciousness. What are you doing? Arthur scratched his beard thoughtfully. You know. He squinted at the creature. It kinda looks like my neighbor's cat. The entire laboratory fell silent. Even the monster seemed confused. Dash. The hunger bloom lunged. Dark tendrils shot across the chamber faster than bullets. Zixel screamed. Security drones opened fire uselessly. And Arthur stepped sideways. That was it. One simple movement. The tendrils smashed into the wall behind him. Arthur frowned. Okay, rude. The creature screeched. A sound so terrible that several nearby monitors shattered instantly. The station lights flickered. Reality itself distorted around the organism. Quantum fractures spread through the air like cracks in glass. Zixel's vision blurred. He realized the creature was attempting a neurological invasion. It was entering their minds. Feeding directly from fear centers in the brain. One by one, the alien staff collapsed. Some cried. Some begged. Some simply shut down mentally. But Arthur just stared at the creature with growing curiosity. Wait a second. He walked closer. Actually closer. Zixel couldn't believe what he was seeing. Human. It is attempting psychic consumption. Arthur rubbed his temple. Oh. So that's the weird headache. The hunger bloom attacked again. This time the shadows wrapped around Arthur's body completely. The laboratory gasped. Finally. The human was dead. But then. Arthur's voice echoed calmly from inside the darkness. Buddy, if you think this is scary. The shadows suddenly trembled. You've never met Australian wildlife. The black tendrils recoiled instantly. For the first time since its discovery. The hunger bloom hesitated. Zixel stared in horror as Arthur forced one arm free from the shadow mass. How? The scientist whispered. The answer was impossible. The hunger bloom consumed fear. It weaponized terror itself. Every intelligent species broke psychologically within seconds of exposure. Yet the human mind resisted. Not completely. But enough. Arthur finally shoved the shadows aside and stepped out covered in black residue. Okay, he muttered. That's officially worse than my ex-wife. Zixel's translator nearly malfunctioned trying to process the sentence. The creature pulsed violently. Its form shifted again. Larger. Sharper. More monstrous. It was adapting specifically to human psychology now. New limbs formed. New jaws. New eyes. Thousands of them. The hunger bloom projected humanity's deepest evolutionary fears directly into Arthur's brain. Predators. Darkness. Isolation. Death. The station sensors recorded enough psychic pressure to destroy an armored warship crew. Arthur stood still. Silent. Watching the creature. Then suddenly. He started laughing. Not nervous laughter. Not hysterical laughter. Real laughter. Warm. Amused. The hunger bloom froze completely. Arthur pointed at one of the creature's massive eyes. Oh my God. He wiped tears from his face. You look exactly like a raccoon that got into a garbage can. Zixel whispered softly. What is a raccoon? No one answered. Because the impossible was happening. The creature was shrinking. Confused. Destabilized. Its entire biological process relied on prey reacting with fear. But the human wasn't behaving like prey. The human was behaving like an apex predator observing an injured animal. Deep within the emergency command center, the station director replayed Arthur's neural readings repeatedly. None of it made sense. Human fear responses should have activated instantly. Instead, the scans showed something horrifying. Pattern recognition. Curiosity. Protective instinct. Excitement. The director finally accessed restricted archival data about Earth. His breathing stopped. Earth's evolutionary history was classified as an Omega-level death world. Extreme gravity. Extreme weather. Mass extinction cycles. Oceans filled with predators. Venomous creatures everywhere. Microbial ecosystems capable of killing entire populations. Even Earth's plants evolved chemical warfare. But the worst discovery was psychological. Humans did not merely survive dangerous environments. They normalized them. Earth had conditioned humanity to coexist with nightmares daily. Their children watched predators for entertainment. They intentionally consumed toxic substances recreationally. They formed emotional bonds with carnivores. Some even kept apex predators inside their homes. The Galactic Council had misunderstood humanity completely. Humans were not harmless prey species. They were death world survivors so psychologically damaged by evolution that terror itself no longer functioned properly against them. Back inside Lab T7, Arthur slowly approached the weakened hunger bloom. The creature retreated. Actually retreated. Every alien on the station watched in disbelief. The extinction organism feared the human. Arthur crouched slightly. "Easy there, buddy." The creature hissed quietly. Its massive form had shrunk down to nearly half size now. Arthur extended one hand carefully. Zixel nearly fainted. "Do not touch it." Arthur ignored him. The black creature trembled. Then, slowly, it rubbed against Arthur's hand. Like a nervous animal seeking comfort. The laboratory went silent. Arthur scratched beneath one shadowy tendril. "There we go." The hunger bloom emitted a low vibrating sound. Zixel checked the scanners again. Impossible. The creature's aggression levels were disappearing. It was calming down. Arthur smiled softly. "You were alone in here too long, huh?" The alien scientist stared at him like he had become a cosmic anomaly. The human was petting an extinction-level organism. And somehow, it liked him. 3 hours later, emergency crews finally re-entered Quantum Growth Lab T7. They expected devastation. Mass casualties. Structural collapse. Instead they found Arthur sitting cross-legged on the containment floor. The hunger bloom rested beside him quietly like a giant black cat. Arthur looked up casually. "Oh hey." Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. The station director spoke carefully through the intercom. "Human Arthur Bennett." "Yeah. What exactly happened here?" Arthur shrugged. "I think it was scared." The director's eye twitched. "Scared?" "Yeah. You guys kept screaming at it and shooting stuff." Arthur scratched the creature gently again. "It probably thought you were predators." Several alien scientists nearly collapsed from psychological overload. Zixel whispered weakly. "The extinction organism thought we were dangerous." Arthur looked genuinely confused. "Well, yeah." The room remained silent for several seconds. Then Arthur asked the question that permanently traumatized the Galactic Research Council. "So?" He grinned. "You got any bigger ones in this lab?"